If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Question: a manager would like to measure compliance for on-time delivery at a glance. When the percentage is too low, the manager would like to drill down to view real-time statistics for deliveries, returns, and average time for order fulfillment. What would you recommend? Option 1: a key performance indicator with an action to open an advanced dashboard. Option 2: a pervasive dashboard with actions to open additional pervasive dashboards. Option 3: an advanced dashboard in his cockpit. Question: in the customer and #39's business process, the sales manager needs to be informed of any discount over 5%. Any discount over 10% requires sign-off by a vice president, VP. How can you set this up? Option 1: set up a user alert with a query for the two conditions, and specify the sales manager and the VP as recipients. Option 2: define an approval process with WO stages, one for the sales manager and one for the V. Option 3: set up a standard alert for the sales manager and define an approval process for the VP sign-off. Option 4: define an approval process with two conditions, 5% and 10%, and include the sales manager and the VP as approvers. Question: the user warns to automatically create and send a PDF by email when adding a sales quotation. Where can you set up the option to do this? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: in the general settings. Option 2: in document settings. Option 3: in the print preferences. Option 4: in the user defaults. Question: what condition must be fulfilled before the system recommends issuing a Level 2 dunning letter? Option 1: a Level 1 letter has already been issued. Option 2: the dunning level of a customer is 2 or higher. Option 3: interest should be defined in the dunning terms. Option 4: the open debt exceeds the customer and #39's credit limit. Question: a sales representative should be able to inform a customer before adding a sales order, if the order exceeds their credit limit. Additionally, the sales manager wants to be notified when a credit limit has been exceeded. How can you implement this? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: activate the credit deviation alert with the sales manager as the recipient. Option 2: enable credit limit restrictions on sales orders in the general settings. Option 3: define a user alert with a query to check the sales order value against the credit limit. Option 4: set up an approval process for credit deviation with the sales manager as the approver. Question: you manage serial numbers for tablet items in your warehouse. When you look at the serial number transaction report, you notice that no serial numbers exist for the transactions of a goods. Receipt PO, GRPO. What could be the reason for the missing serial numbers for the GRPO transactions? Option 1: the serial numbers were already defined in the purchase order-based document. Option 2: the serial number expiration date has passed. Option 3: after the GRPO was added, the manage item by definition was set to none. Option 4: the serial number management method of the item is set to on release only. Question: in a perpetual inventory system, what is the effect of posting an A/P invoice that is copied from a goods receipt PO, GRPO? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: journal entry reduces cash account. Option 2: stock value increases. Option 3: allocation account from GRPO clears. Option 4: vendor and #39's balance increases. Question, you post a goods receipt PO, GRPO. There is no purchase order to reference. How will the GRPO affect inventory levels? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 increases the committed quantity. Option 2 increases the in-stock quantity. Option 3 decreases the ordered quantity. Option 4 increases the quantity available to promise. Question, what does the system create automatically when you add a new cost center? Option 1 sort code. Option 2 dimension. Option 3 distribution rule. Option 4 G/L account. Question, a company uses the advanced G/L account determination solution. The company defined 5 rules for special business scenarios for selling items to different countries. Which accounts does the system use for all other business scenarios to assign accounts to journal entries? Option 1 the accounts defined in the G/L determination window. Option 2 the accounts defined in the warehouse. Option 3 the accounts defined in the item master data. Option 4 the accounts defined in the item group. Question, the customer wants to continue legacy document numbers in the new SAP Business One system with no breaks. What would you recommend? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 use the manual numbering series and enter the legacy numbers. Option 2 define a new series starting with the next legacy number. Option 3 use the primary series with a prefix for the legacy numbers. Option 4 use the primary series and change the starting number. Question, a user creates an incoming payment for a customer and selects 2 invoices to be paid. When the user tries to post the payment, the system message that is shown in the attached screenshot appears. What are possible reasons for this system message? Note, there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1 the user did not choose a payment means. Option 2 the amount in the payment means window does not match the total amount of invoices. Option 3 the customer uses a foreign currency and the exchange rate is not set up. Option 4 the invoices 8 not due yet. Question, there are 3 parts to this bin location code, M02A14S02. What does each part represent? Option 1 Part 1, Warehouse Sublevel 1 Part 2, Warehouse Sublevel 2 Part 3, Shelf Location. Option 2 Part 1, Warehouse Sublevel 1 Part 2, Warehouse Sublevel 2 Part 3, Warehouse Sublevel 3. Option 3 Part 1, Warehouse Code Part 2, Warehouse Sublevel 1 Part 3, Warehouse Sublevel 2. Option 4 Part 1, Warehouse Code Part 2, Aisle Location Part 3, Attribute of the bin location. Question, one of the items you manage in your warehouse fell and broke, so you throw it away. What document should you add to record the removal of the item from the inventory? Option 1 Retirement. Option 2 Goods Issue. Option 3 Goods Return. Option 4 Inventory Transfer. Question, the company does not want to use the payment wizard and asks you to remove the functionality completely from all forms. How do you do this? Option 1, using a configuration template, hide the payment wizard function. Option 2, using the form settings, hide the payment wizard menu. Option 3, remove authorization to the payment wizard in Genial authorizations. Option 4, in the general settings, hide the payment wizard function. Question: which of the following documents increases the in-stock level of an item? Note, there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, goods receipt. Option 2, goods receipt PO. Option 3, reserve invoice. Option 4, return. Option 5, goods return. Question: Query Manager allows you to save user queries in categories. What is the purpose of a category? Note, there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1 allows you to schedule the running of queries by category. Option 2 enables the query to be saved and printed as a report. Option 3 controls access to the saved user query. Option 4 groups similar types of user queries. Question: the accountant added a new G/L account for employee bonuses. In the journal entry window, this new account does not appear in the list of accounts. What could be the reason? Option 1, the new account is defined as relevant for cost accounting. Option 2, the new account was defined as a title. Option 3, the new account was placed in the wrong drawer. Option 4, the new account type is set to other. Question: what tools are available to personalize documents by hiding or showing standard fields? Note, there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1, user-defined values. Option 2, edit form all. Option 3, form settings. Option 4, document settings. Question: a user was assigned data ownership authorizations as shown in the attached screenshot. What will this user be able to do? Note, there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1, view and update invoices owned by this user and #39 S manager. Option 2, view invoices owned by employees who report directly to this user. Option 3, view invoices owned by this user and #39 S manager. Option 4, view and update invoices owned by employees who report directly to this user. Question: you have just added a purchase order for 50 notebooks. What is the effect of adding this purchase order? Option 1, in stock level stays the same, committed quantity increases by 50. Option 2, in stock level decreases by 50, committed quantity increases by 50. Option 3, in stock level stays the same, ordered quantity increases by 50. Option 4, in stock level increases by 50, ordered quantity stays the same. Question: a user creates an incoming payment for a customer and selects 2 invoices to be paid. When the user tries to post the payment, the system message that is shown in the attached screenshot appears. What are possible reasons for this system message? Note there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, the user did not choose a payment means. Option 2, the amount in the payment means window does not match the total amount of invoices. Option 3, the customer uses a foreign currency and the exchange rate is not set up. Option 4, the invoices are not due yet. Question: which two fields are examples of dimensions used in semantic layer views? Note there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, posting date. Option 2, item code. Option 3, item quantity. Option 4, document total. Question: you are creating a manual journal entry. What determines the subperiod low which the transaction will be registered? Option 1, the document date. Option 2, the fiscal year start date. Option 3, the posting date. Option 4, the period indicator. Question: one of your largest customers is assigned to the retail price list. You have just negotiated quantity discounts for this customer for certain items based on the distributor price list prices. These additional discounts should apply to only this customer. Which is the best option for pricing to support this scenario? Option 1, create a discount group for this customer alone. Option 2, add entries to the period and volume discounts for the distributor price list. Option 3, reassign the customer to the distributor price list. Option 4, set up special prices for business partners for this customer. Question: you have set up advanced availability to promise, ADP, in a company with 3 item groups. The first item group does not need an automatic ADP check. The second item group requires an ADP check and cannot be split into multiple deliveries. The third item group requires an ADP check but can have multiple deliveries. What action is needed to configure this requirement? Option 1, set the appropriate order multiple and order interval in each item group. Option 2, use a different row type in the sales order for each item group. Option 3, create a checking rule to assign to each item group. Question: a company manufactures electronic pans. They want to begin individually tracking the items at the point when they leave the warehouse and the point that they are delivered to a customer. What settings are required on the item master record? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, management method on every transaction. Option 2, management method, on release only. Option 3, manage item by batches. Option 4, manage item by serial numbers. Question: Query Manager allows you to save user queries in categories. What is the purpose of a category? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 allows you to schedule the running of queries by category. Option 2 enables the query to be saved and printed as a report. Option 3 controls access to the saved user query. Option 4 groups similar types of user queries. Question: You created sales quotations for 3 leads. One of the quotations was accepted with the condition that delivery be made today. What action do you need to take before you can create a delivery document for the sales quotation? Option 1, copy the sales quotation to a sales order. Option 2, convert the lead to a customer. Option 3, change the status of the sales quotation. Option 4, perform an availability check. Question: a production process finishes. What can you do to add the finished goods to inventory? Note, there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1, from the context menu of the production order choose report completion. Option 2, change the production order status to released. Option 3, add a receipt from production document for the production order. Option 4, close the production order. Question: a company wants to track the sales performance of items by different market segments. Examples of these segments include sales to youths, seniors, professionals, and amateurs. These market segments sometimes overlap. Which functionality can help the company track sales performance for overlapping market segments? Option 1, customer groups. Option 2, item properties. Option 3, item groups. Option 4, customer type. Question: which definition is required for setting an asset master data as a virtual item? Option 1, define numbering series for the asset master data. Option 2, define the asset master data as a sales item. Option 3, define the asset master data as an inventory item. Option 4, define a serial number for this asset master data. Question: when you preview the predefined print layout for a sales order in Crystal Reports, the system prompts you to enter the doc key and the object ID. What are these 2 pieces of information? Option 1, the document type and the database identifier. Option 2, the document type and the customer code. Option 3, the sales order document number and the document type. Option 4, the layout type, PLD or Crystal Report, and the sales order document number. Question: how to determine the payment amount? Option 1, choose the payment on account option. Option 2, choose the debit option. Option 3, choose the credit option. Option 4, choose the entry option. Question: what is recommended for helping the controller manage the company and #39's cash flow? Option 1, profit and loss and the general ledger. Option 2, customer receivables aging and the dunning process. Option 3, the budget module and the cost accounting. Option 4, the inventory audit report and the internal reconciliation process. Question: what is the most important factor when determining the priority of a support incident? Option 1, the business impact on the customer. Option 2, the importance of the customer. Option 3, the version and patch level that was tested. Option 4, the SAP Business 1, SBO, incident component. Question, which transaction will typically affect only the balance sheet accounts? Option 1 period end closing utility. Option 2 A/R invoice. Option 3 A/R credit memo. Option 4 outgoing payment to a vendor. Question, Mike from Miller Incorporated created a forecast showing a need for 100 staplers by June 1st. Currently there are 10 staplers in inventory. Existing sales orders have a committed quantity of 50 staplers. When Mike runs MRP to produce a production order to manufacture staplers, the recommended production order is for 90 staplers. Why does MRP recommend this amount? Option 1 the maximum stock requirement is set to 90. Option 2 MRP never considers sales orders as demand. Option 3 the minimum stock requirement is set to 10. Option 4 the planning definitions are set to consume forecasts. Question, what always increases the asset value? Option 1 credit transaction. Option 2 debit transaction. Option 3 no transaction. Option 4 none of the above. Question, what do you mean by the term GAAP? Option 1 generally accepted advanced procedure. Option 2 generally accepted accounting principles. Option 3 generally advanced accounting procedure. Option 4 generally accounting procedure. Question, what all are the elements involved in complete integration of SAP Business One CERP system? There are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1 operations. Option 2 task lists. Option 3 external factors. Option 4 codes. Option 5 finance. Question, find out the types of business partners used in sales and purchasing document. There are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1 government authorities. Option 2 leads correct. Option 3 international authorities. Option 4 customers. Option 5 vendors. Question, you create a query for an approval process to check for service purchase orders over 3,000 in value. When you test the approval process you get an error from the query. What is wrong with this query? Select T distinct and hashtag 39, true and hashtag 39, from OPORT0 where $3.0.0 equals and hashtag 39s and hashtag 39, and $29.0. Number 3000. Option 1 the service type and hashtag 39s and hashtag 39, is not part of the purchase order table, therefore you need to refer to it using the table and field name. Option 2 you should not use the and hashtag 39, distinct true and hashtag 39, clause in this type of query since only a single value is returned. Option 3, you need to add the table name OPOR to the condition to reference the fields. Option 4, to refer to a field in the active window, an additional and #39, and #39 character is required before the index values. Question: which report shows you the income of your business for the fiscal year/selected period? Option 1, trial balance. Option 2, balance sheet. Option 3, profit and loss. Option 4, cash flow. Question: Louis from Tropical Hammocks Incorporated has just received some defective hammocks back from customers. He needs to send these hammocks back through production to have several ropes and knots replaced and repaired. Which type of production order will best suit his needs? Option 1, disassembly production order. Option 2, special production order. Option 3, no production order is needed, instead use a service call. Option 4, standard production order. Question: a procurement manager created 2 separate purchase orders with 5 items for wiring and cable materials. During the goods receipt it was found that an additional item was delivered related to a closed purchase order. What is the most efficient way for warehouse personnel to receive these items into stock? Option 1, create one goods receipt PO for the 5 items from the purchase orders and a second goods receipt PO to receive the 6th item. Option 2, copy the 5 items from the purchase orders into a goods receipt PO, and use the inventory goods receipt to receive the 6th item. Option 3, create a new purchase order for the 6th item, before referencing all purchase orders in the same goods receipt P. Option 4, copy the 5 items from the purchase orders into a goods receipt PO and add an additional row in the goods receipt PO for the 6th item. Question: you have been doing business with a vendor, ZZ Supplies, for over a year. Now the vendor asks to place an order as a customer. What do you need to do to create the sales order properly? Enter the sales order as a customer sales order with the vendor business partner number entered in the customer code field. Create a new customer master record and enter this new customer code in the sales order. Correct: change the business partner type of the vendor to and #39, customer and #39, enter the sales order, and then change the business partner type back to and #39, vendor and #39. Because this sales order is an exception, use the and #39, A/R invoice plus payment and #39, transaction to enter the sales order in the account for one-time customers. Option 1, enter the sales order as a customer sales order with the vendor business partner number entered in the customer code field. Option 2, create a new customer master record and enter this new customer code in the sales order. Option 3, change the business partner type of the vendor to and #39, customer and #39, enter the sales order, and then change the business partner type back to and #39, vendor and #39. Option 4, because the sales order is an exception, use the and #39, A/R invoice plus payment and #39, transaction to enter the sales order in the account for one-time customers. Question: the implementation consultant has just demonstrated the service type purchase order to the client. The client lead is very concerned that they have to select from the entire list of G/L accounts when they create a service type purchase order. There are several accounts that the client lead can select for different types of services. What can the consultant suggest to help the client lead? Option 1, set the short list of G/L accounts as default accounts on the Purchasing tab in the G/L account determination. Option 2, add a user-defined field to the purchase order row, with a list of valid values for the short list of accounts. The client lead can choose from the short list. Option 3, define a project for each type of service, and associate a G/L account. When the client lead selects the project, the G/L account is used. Option 4, add user-defined values to the G/L account field in the purchase order row, with a fixed list of values containing the short list of G/L accounts. The client lead can choose from the short list. Question: when working with a perpetual inventory system, where should the end #39, unit price end #39, in the goods receipt PO default from? Option 1, the inventory account defined for each item in the goods receipt P. Option 2, the end #39, item cost end #39, value of each item in the goods receipt P. Option 3, the vendor end #39, S price list for each item in the goods receipt P. Option 4, the valuation method defined for each item in the goods receipt P. Question: the window for outgoing and incoming payment are divided into how many parts? There are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, in the middle. Option 2, at the bottom. Option 3, on the top. Option 4, at the right side. Option 5, at the left side. Question: the client wants to continue the numbering of invoices from the legacy system, so that there are no gaps in the numbering. Additionally, sales quotations are issued by multiple employees, and the numbering of sales quotations should continue for each employee. How can both these requirements be implemented in SAP Business One? Option 1, set the first number for each type of document using the document numbering function. Option 2, set the first invoice number using the document numbering function. In the same function, create multiple numbering series for sales quotations. Option 3, using the document settings function, set one document numbering range for invoices, and multiple ranges for sales quotation documents. Option 4, in each user account, set the first and last document numbers for each document type. Question: identify any 2 milestones involved in IP final preparation phase. There are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1, cutover task. Option 2, monitoring of system. Option 3, project review. Option 4, end users training delivery. Option 5, customer engagement. Question: you resell office supplies. You want low-buy pens in boxes of 20 units and sell each pen separately. What should you define in the system to enable this process? Option 1, define the pen as a sales item and the box of pens as a purchase item. Option 2, define a factor of 20 for the box of pens in the item master data. Option 3, define a purchase unit of measure for the box of pens and a sales unit of measure for a single pen. Option 4, define an order multiple of 20 for the pen in the item master data. Question: from where can a consultant get the hardware key to request a license? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, the License Manager settings. Option 2, the RSP Agent service. Option 3, the DIS server. Option 4, the System Landscape Directory. Question: a customer can place a sales order in multiple ways, from an e-commerce website, by phone, from trade shows, by email, and through a network of distributors. The company wants to track the source of each sales order for analysis later. Orders from trade shows can only be shipped if the full quantity for an item is available. Orders from other sources can be partially shipped. How should the consultant implement these two requirements? Please choose the correct answer. Option 1, a customer can place a sales order in multiple ways, from an e-commerce website, by phone, from trade shows, by email, and through a network of distributors. The company wants to track the source of each sales order for analysis later. Orders from trade shows can only be shipped if the full quantity for an item is available. Orders from other sources can be partially shipped. How should the consultant implement these two requirements? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 2, add a user-defined field to the business partner master data to track the source. The user deselects the partial delivery checkbox in the master data if the source is a trade show. Option 3, add a user-defined field to the sales order to track the source. The user deselects the partial delivery checkbox in the sales order if the source is a trade show. Option 4, add a user-defined field with a list of values for the possible sources to the pick and pack remarks field in the sales order. If the source is a trade show, the user adds the text "No partial delivery" in the remarks field. Question: a company has defined the posting periods as quarters. How often should they run the period end closing utility? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, because they define their sub-periods as quarters, the system requires them to run the period end closing utility at the end of each quarter. Option 2, depending on their financial processes, they should run the period end closing utility at the end of the fiscal year and optionally can run it at the end of each quarter. Option 3, the period end closing utility can be run only yearly. Option 4, they are required to run the period end closing utility both at the beginning of each quarter and at the end of the fiscal year. Question: a company manufactures electronic parts. They want to begin individually tracking the items at the point when they leave the warehouse and the point that they are delivered to a customer. What settings are required on the item master record? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, management method on every transaction. Option 2, manage item by batches. Option 3, management method on release only. Option 4, manage item by serial numbers. Question: you are browsing documents and encounter a document with the status draft for document update pending. What does this mean in the context of an approval process? Option 1, document in approval process was cancelled by the originator and now cannot be added or updated. Option 2, document was approved but has not yet been saved by the originator. Option 3, originator has made a change to a document and document now meets criteria for an approval. Option 4, a document with status draft for document update was approved and can now be added by the originator. Question: which of these configuration settings are irreversible once a document has been posted? There are two correct answers to this question. Response: Option 1, the chart of accounts template. Option 2, the default valuation method for item groups. Option 3, the use of perpetual inventory. Option 4, the option to use multi-language support. Option 5E, the management method for serial numbers. Question: during the implementation project, the implementation consultant presents the list of SAP Business One modules and functions to the client team. The client lead states that he is responsible for planning and monitoring expenditures on company projects. Which training will be required for the client lead to manage spending limits? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, management of approval procedures. Option 2, setup and management of budget. Option 3, purchasing process and accounts payables. Option 4, journal postings and outgoing payments. Question: under which conditions can bin location management be disabled after activation for a warehouse? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, if all bin locations are empty. Option 2, if bin location transactions have not been made for existing bin locations. Option 3, if bin location codes are not defined yet. Option 4, if the warehouse is set to a dropship warehouse. Question: what can you do when working with multiple branches? There are two correct answers to this question. Response: Option 1, issue a single goods return from multiple branches. Option 2, share master data records across branches. Option 3, monitor inventory levels for each branch. Option 4, define a different system currency for each branch. Question: Tiny Toys reports the financial statement to the company headquarters once a year. They manage internal controlling at the end of each quarter. How would you recommend they set the posting periods in SAP Business One? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, define the main posting period as the fiscal year and the sub-periods as quarters. Option 2, set the fiscal year to quarters and define the sub-periods as days. Option 3, define the main posting period as quarters with no sub-periods. Option 4, define the main posting period as the quarter and the sub-periods as months. Question: what tool should a support consultant use to transfer a customer database to SAP Support? Option 1, System Data Maintenance. Option 2, System Landscape Directory. Option 3, Remote Support Platform. Option 4, Support Launchpad. Question: what can be a reason for a missing check in the deposit window? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1, the bank account in the deposit was not selected. Option 2, the customer in the deposit was not selected. Option 3, the wrong checking account in the deposit was selected. Option 4, the check date was overdue. Question: How does the system determine the unit value of an inventory item controlled by moving average valuation method? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, use the item cost of the oldest item in stock. Option 2, enter a cost price into the item master record. Option 3, divide the total value by the total quantity. Option 4, apply the last purchase price for this item. Question: you have set up advanced availability to promise, ADP, in a company with 3 item groups. The first item group does not need an automatic ADP check. The second item group requires an ADP check and cannot be split into multiple deliveries. The third item group requires an ADP check but can have multiple deliveries. What action is needed to configure this requirement? Option 1, set the appropriate order multiple and order interval in each item group. Option 2, use a different row type in the sales order for each item group. Option 3, create a checking rule to assign to each item group. Question: when you create a new company, default settings and values are applied automatically in the company details. What influences the default settings? Option 1, chart of accounts template. Option 2, license. Option 3, localization. Option 4, local currency. Question: what is recommended for helping the controller manage the company and #39's cash flow? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, the budget module and the cost accounting. Option 2, customer receivables aging and the dunning process. Option 3, the inventory audit report and the internal reconciliation process. Option 4, profit and loss and the general ledger. Question: what can be copied from one user to another? There are 2 correct answers to this question. Response. Option 1, data ownership authorizations. Option 2, report categories. Option 3, form settings. Option 4, general authorizations. Question: a restaurant supply store wants to set up discounts for one of its best customers. The customer should receive a 2% discount on cookware, and should also receive a free apron for every 3 aprons they buy. How can you set up these discounts? Option 1, use the special prices for business partners. Option 2, create a discount group. Option 3, define a new price list with a factor of 2. Option 4, create a specific blanket agreement. Question: what all are the factors involved in engagement of implementation? There are 2 correct answers to this question. Response. Option 1, partner organization. Option 2, end customers. Option 3, agents. Option 4, middlemen. Question: your company sells sets of hardware tools. Each tool in the set is defined as an item in the system. You want to have a price for the set of hardware tools. How do you define the set of hardware tools in the system? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, define the set as a phantom item. Option 2, define an item group for the items in the set. Option 3, create a sales bill of materials for the set. Option 4, assign all items to the same discount group. Question: your client has asked for a report on service contract history. What is the easiest way to identify the correct fields needed in the report? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, with the service contract in the active window, open the query wizard. It will automatically show the table and field names for the active window. Option 2, open a service contract document and right mouse click on a field to see the table and field name. Option 3, reference the DAPI online help to see the table and field names for the service contract object. Option 4, open a service contract and toggle the system information view to see the table and field names at the bottom of the screen. Question: which accounts will appear in the balance sheet report? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, sales and expenditures accounts with balances in the selected period. Option 2, the bank account and the inventory account of the company. Option 3, accounts that show gross profit for the current fiscal year. Option 4, the electricity and the telephone accounts of the company. Question: in the customer receivables aging report, what is IHE aging date? Option 1, the due date of the transaction. Option 2, the age interval in which the debts are distributed in the report. Option 3, the date from which the age of the debt is calculated. Question: you have been doing business with a vendor, ZZ Supplies, for over a year. Now the vendor asks to place an order as a customer. What do you need to do to create the sales order properly? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, because the sales order is an exception, use the end hashtag 39, A/R invoice plus payment and hashtag 39, transaction to enter the sales order in the account for one-time customers. Option 2, enter the sales order as a customer sales order with the vendor business partner number entered in the customer code field. Option 3, change the business partner type of the vendor to end hashtag 39, customer and hashtag 39, enter the sales order, and then change the business partner type back to end hashtag 39, vendor and hashtag 39. Option 4, create a new customer master record and enter this new customer code in the sales order. Question: a company wants to use separate blocks of numbers for purchase orders. A block of numbers should be allocated to each of the 5 buyers. How can the consultant implement this requirement in SAP Business One? Please choose the correct answer. Response. Option 1, create employee master data for the buyers. Define the blocks of numbers as user defaults and link them to the user accounts for the buyers. Option 2, define a separate document numbering series for each buyer for the purchase order document. Allocate each series to a different group and assign general authorization to each buyer using the group number for the series. Option 3, define each block of numbers as a document numbering series for the purchase order document. Link each series to the employee master data record for each buyer, using data ownership authorizations. Option 4. Specify the blocks of numbers in the document settings for the purchase order document. Assign a block of numbers to each buyer using data ownership authorizations. Question: at the end of the financial period, the accountant wants to review all G/L account and business partner balances. Which report should he run? Please choose the correct answer. Response: Option 1 Transaction Journal Report. Option 2 Trial Balance. Option 3 Balance Sheet. Option 4 Profit and Loss. Question: data ownership is used in a company and the business partner and document method is selected. A sales employee adds a sales quotation for a business partner. How will the system apply data ownership rules if there is not an owner in the business partner master data? Option 1 based on the company relationship. Option 2 based on the business partner contact. Option 3 based on the sales employee and #39s authorizations. Option 4 based on the document owner.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.